today's session, we are going to see React Programming Part 4. So from the previous session, I am going to continue with hooks. So we are going to see in today's session a detailed version of hooks, and then we can see the destructuring. I explained more React programming in this session, how to use maps, how to use arrays, how to use array of objects. I have explained everything in this React programming. So please listen very carefully, understand the program and start writing. First we are going to see in the hooks is useState. useState is one of the function we have seen in the previous session for creating the state variable. So if we make any changes on this variable, the pages get re-rendered. That's what the state variable we have. So this I have already explained in the previous session. Next we will move on to the UseEffect. So UseEffect, there are three phases in React component lifecycle. So React component lifecycle is the lifecycle which is created previously in the React 16 below. So we have the class components previously. That class components has different life cycles. One is component did mount, component did update, and then component unmount. So there are many life cycles in class components, but we are going to see only the three life cycles in these functional components. Component did mount, component did update, and then component unmount. Only these three life cycle we are going to see in this functional component. Only these three is available now in the latest React 18 version. So we have three phases here. A first phase is called a mounting phase. Okay, so this is the first life cycle of the UseEffect. I will explain this very clearly in the programming languages so you can understand what is this mounting phase. So second thing is updating phase, and third one is unmounting phase. So we will see all these three in this PPT. First is mounting phase. A functional component is being created and added to the DOM. So whenever you are running a program, a functional component is created and added to the DOM. So that phase is called as mounting phase. So it initializes the state and perform any setup that needed when a component first rendered. So this is actually for initializing any state variable or state value inside this UseEffect. Okay. So mainly for performing any setup that is needed when the component is first rendered. Whenever a component is first rendered, that setup will be get ready. So it will initialize all the state variables. That's what is called as mounting phase. Second is called as updating phase. Updating phase, when the component is get re-rendered. Okay, when the component is when it will be get re-rendered, whenever any state variable or state values get changed, the component get re-rendered. Whenever the props or the state variable get changed, the component will get re-rendered. That is called as updating phase. Okay. The third one we are going to see is unmounting phase. The unmounting phase is nothing but whenever a component is removed from the DOM. Whenever a component get removed from the DOM, this unmounting phase will be executed. So I will show you all the example for this. The syntax for this UseEffect is UseEffect bracket setup comma dependencies. So this is the syntax of UseEffect. We will see one by one. Okay, now we will start with the programming now. So you can see here in the previous session we have removed all the created folders here, a component folder. So how to create a folder here? Go to source, right click, new folder. Click on new folder. It will ask for the folder name here. You have to type a folder name here. Okay. So So I gave you services like this example. So you have to create a component folder, and then you can create the files here. I have created two files here. One is header, another one is home, and then footer component. Okay. So what is component here? Header is a component here. I have called a header here. This is external component. And then footer is also another component here. Footer, and home is also another component here. It's a page actually. We call it as page. Header and footers are component which is commonly used in all pages. Home is the page which is going to render inside the page. Okay. So first you will see how to create a header here. So I created a header here, header.js. I will say import logo, logo.svg, and then I have declared function header, open bracket, then open braces, end braces. I return one statement here, return div, class name app header, paragraph, image source, class app logo, then paragraph header close. So I have exported default header. You know what is export default header, right? Every functions you are writing, you have to export it. Then only we can call it in the app.js. So we can call like this, header, like this we can call it. So every header should be exported like this, export default header. So this is a small function which returns the header function, and then in the app.js I use the footer here. So I created one footer file here, that is a footer.js. So function starts with function footer. It should start with the capital letter, okay, and then it should return a div copyrights here, and then export footer default footer. Okay, so that footer will be called here in the app.js component footer, and then I am calling a home.js from the pages/home. I create another folder here. You can see this. This is a pages folder. Inside that pages folder, I created the home.js file. In that home.js file, I imported in the app.js. So pages home.js. Okay. So all these components, three components. One is header, footer, and home. Home is the main component. The header component I have called here has header as a tag here, and the footer component I have called it as a tag here, and then home component I have called it as a home component. Okay, this is the export default app. This is how we have to call the external component inside the app folder. Okay, so we have imported all this header, footer, and home, and then I have called it as a tag here. Like this, you only have to call it. So now we created one header file, and then we have created one footer file. Okay. Okay, listen very carefully. This is very important program I am going to teach you. First we will see the import. So the import, we have useEffect and useState. These are the two main hooks we have to import from the React, which is a React 18 version, right? So in the function home, I have declared two variables here. How to declare a useState variable means, first is the name set. This is set, this is get. So this is setter, this is getter. So useState, set name, name. useState, I am declaring another variable. useState, set show is show, false. And then another declare variable is set country selected, useState, like this. So I declare four variables using useState. Okay. So why I declare this four state, I will explain this one by one. Okay. So this is the form here. In this form I am displaying a div here. I am making it as a center, and then I have declared a table tag here. In this table tag I am using a your name. I am getting the name. Input type text, name equal to username, on change. This is on change event. I am calling this handle click. Okay, handle click, what it will do is actually it will call this handle click event. The event will parameter will be passed. You can see it, right? So set name event dot target dot value. So I am setting this name. Set name. The name value will be set here. Okay. So whenever the user enters the username here, and click on and handle click will be called on change event, and the value will be set here in the set name. So set name is the value will be set. So this is actually a useState variable where name will be set inside that. And then I have declared select countries, and then select on change handle select. So select on change means, so whenever a drop down, this will display a drop down. You know, this select statement will display a drop down. Okay. So on change handle select. Handle select is nothing but this is another handle select. Set country selected is equal to event dot target value. Okay. So these two event you can come to understand, right? Handle select and handle click, right? Next, show name. So I'll explain this one later. So in the coming program, so I'll explain this TD button here. Button on click show name. Style have declared here render. So whenever a button is displayed, clicked on this render button, a show name is clicked here. So a show name will click here and set show equal to true. Whenever this set show equal to true, this comes here is show. So set show is nothing but is show. So is show means when it is true, it will display your entered name and the selected country. Okay. Otherwise it will display null. So this is the displaying conditional rendering. This is called as conditional rendering, where is show will be, if it is true it will display this, if it is false it will display null. So this is called as conditional rendering. Whenever the set show is updated, whenever the set show is called, whenever this show name is called, set show will become true. Whenever it becomes true, so this will be displayed. Okay. Now I'll explain this country list. So I have declared one use effect here. Use effect is the hooks concept here, where this will be called during the I have declared two use effect here. One is I said no, mounting phase, updating phase, and then the unmount phase, right? So this, if you declare use effect and then if you say comma bracket, that is called as mounting phase. So mounting phase will be called whenever the second parameter is blank. First parameter is this function. Okay. The second parameter is a blank. Blank means this is called as mounting phase. So use effect is called during the mounting phase. So this use effect will be called only one time. So here I declared a function called get countries. So get countries, I have called this function here inside this use effect. So whenever the program starts running, this use effect will be called. This is called as mounting phase, and this will call this function here get countries function will be called, and this get country function will be executed. So during here you can see here fetch. This is the API call I have shown here. So this is API. API means application programming interface. So this API will fetch the data from this URL. So this is a URL for getting all the countries of the Asian continent. So this API will fetch all the countries of this particular Asian continent. So all the countries will be fetched. So that is called as fetch. Fetch is a command for fetch is a function for fetching all the data from that particular API. Okay. That function will be then when this then command is executed, if it is successful, then res.json, this will convert into res.json. It will convert this data into JSON format, that is called as res.json. So res is the variable here, you will get a response there from this API. So that response I am converting into res.json. Okay. After converting this, again then dot data. So in fetch we have to call then two times. Why? Because first time you will get a response that we have to convert into JSON. Second time we will get the JSON data here. That is the data here. So then that data I am getting a setting in the country list. So this country list will be set here. Okay, now we can see why I have declared 4 state variables here. First is for setting the name, second is for showing that particular show, third is for selecting the country, fourth is for setting the country list. So this will set the data in the country list. Okay, so that country list will be set in the country list. So this is a country list. I am getting a country list ampersand country list dot map. This country list, now it is called as array of objects. So this country list is nothing but it is the array of objects. That array of objects will be displayed like this. This is actually an array of objects. I will show you what is array of objects. You can see it here. An array of objects. I will show you array of objects here. This is called as array of objects. Okay. So this array of objects will be shown here. Array of objects will be shown here. Okay. That array of objects will be set in the country list, and then country list dot map. Country list dot map means map is the function in the JavaScript, that is ES6. They call it as ES6. This map function will take the data, will show the data from this country list state variable. Okay, so it will take the data, and then I am using 2 variables here, country comma index. So that country dot name dot comma common, that is the API call. We are getting the value like this, and that value will be shown here. I will show that how we are getting that value. Okay, I will show you that how the values are showing here. I will show console dot data, then you can see it. I will run it and show you. Now I will run this program. I am just typing it here, something I am typing it, and then you can see the data how it is rendering it. I am showing it in the console. You can see the data here. I am just refreshing it. I think the program is not running. I will see what is the error. Webpack is compiled. There is no error. Now it is coming here. You can see the data now. Console.data. So I can show here. Console.log will show the data here. Data comma data. So the data shown here. You can see the data here. Okay. So I am getting the data here. Name dot common. So how you are getting the data? Name dot common. So you are getting that of 0 name dot common. In the name field you are getting common Thailand. So I am setting like that. Okay, how I am setting it? Name dot common. In the country variable I am getting name dot common as a value here, and then I am setting the name here, so that it will display the name as a drop down. You can see the drop down here. Okay, I am just typing it and just dropping down. You can see a list of countries from the Asian. Okay, so this is getting a fetch. I will show you once again how it is getting fetched, how the API call is called. I will show you that also, how API is called here. Okay, I am just refreshing it. You can see the Asia here. This is the API called. So what is the API here? Rest countries, region Asia. And then you can see the preview here, and you are getting the response here. So you can see the response here. Okay, so you can see the countries here. In the common, you can see Pakistan. So I am just rendering the value like this. Country dot name dot common. Country dot name dot common. So country list dot map is nothing but it will fetch all the datas. You can see all the datas here. Okay, in the name dot common you can see the countries here. Okay, so this is how the data is getting rendered, and I am populating it here. It shows here. Okay, and then I am typing the name here, and then say render. When a render button is clicked, you can see enter name, show your selected country is Hong Kong. So this data is displayed here. So is show is enabled. When I am clicking this render button, the show name is clicked, The show name, when show name is clicked, set show will be shown. Set show will show the data here. This show will become true. The enter name will be shown here. The selected country will be shown here. Okay. So this is how the data is getting rendered. Okay. So if I type it again here, you can see the changes here. Can you see the changes? If I am typing, removing this and then changing the countries also, Singapore or Bhutan, I am changing it. You can see the changes here, right? So this is how the hooks will work. So use effect. Okay. Another use effect we have, I said only mounting phase, right? Another phase is called as country select phase. This is called as updating phase. The updating phase is called whenever a country selected is updated. When this country selected is getting updated. So I will show you when country is getting selected. You can say on change handle select. So handle select, what it does, handle select says set country selected. When set country selected is set, the value will be stored here. Then the set country is selected, the country will be selected. That value will get changed. Whenever the data gets changed, you can see that whenever the data gets changed, when it is getting updated, this use effect will be called. Only one time this use effect will be called. So this is called as updating phase. So first use effect is mounting phase. Second use effect is called as updating phase. So third one I said unmounting phase, that is called as return. So return will call the unmounting phase. So you can see the data here. It can show the unmounting phase also. In the console you can see unmounting phase. Okay. So this is called as phase. This is called as we can see the three phases here. One is mounting phase. The second one is updating phase. Third one is the return is called as unmounting phase. Unmounting means when the component get dismount, when the component get removed, this unmounting will be called. This function will be called. The return function will be called. That is called as unmounting phase. Okay. Most probably unmounting phase we will not use it in our programming. I am just showing for an example. Okay. In the next session, I'll explain you what is use concept and other hooks functions also. Thank you for your watching this video, and please subscribe for the upcoming videos also. Thank you.